G'day everyone, on my way to a network meeting today. My name's George, if we haven't introduced to each other yet, and I'd like to present to you today's message of hope. This story is coming from the United States of America. She's sitting on a fire escape, you see, filming herself, telling 4.6 million strangers that her roommate had ruined her life. Sounds incredible, doesn't it? Her name is Emily, and her roommate told her she wasn't renewing the lease of the apartment they were renting. Plenty of traffic and roadworks here. Sorry, guys. Now, Emily called that a betrayal. Fancy that. She felt blindsided. She reckoned she was homelessness. That's what she said. That was coming her way. Amazingly, she had the energy. 30 videos she created poured out in a matter of days. Finally, her roommate spoke up. Just 5 words. I don't owe you some expletive I don't care to mention here. Well, it turns out the rent had gone up and Emily needed to qualify for the lease on her own. That sounds reasonable. So it's not a betrayal at all. I mean, that's how it goes when you're renting in New York, right? Pretty much anyway, I suspect. So here's what happened next. And it's the part that actually interests me. You see, strangers sent her over $7,000. I haven't had strangers send me even 70 cents. This girl did something incredible, I guess. Then the backlash arrived. That is, people asking why a grown woman needed a crowdfunding page instead of getting a second job. That's a great question. Anyway, I don't know her background, so I'm not going to criticize. So, turns out she ended up publicly apologizing, admitting none of it would have happened if she hadn't gone to social media in the first place, and promising to give away whatever was left over charity. Someone needs to hold her accountable, I guess. Wow, $7,000 raised, US dollars. So a public apology was issued. That's a good start. And all from words that came out faster than the facts did. I know that type of pull personally myself. Because last month, on a Teams channel in front of my entire team, a colleague suggested I hadn't locked the doors properly on my shift. That she was on as well. Have a listen to this from the Bible. It says, James chapter 1, verse 19. Another golden nugget from the Bible, of course. It says, know this, my beloved brothers, let every person be quick to hear, slow to speak, and slow to anger. That's worth repeating, so I'm going to say it. Let every person be quick to hear, slow to speak, and slow to anger. Now, of course, James isn't writing about Teams messages or viral fire escapes. He's writing to a scattered church going through real suffering. It's about receiving God's word properly instead of just hearing it. Yeah, but the principle travels, I believe. It's quick to hear, slow to speak, and slow to anger. Just 3 simple steps to follow. Now, didn't Emily have a right to feel blindsided? Yeah. And didn't I have a right to correct the record in front of my whole team? Maybe. That's probably up to the manager to decide. But slow to speak was never meant as never speak. It's just refusing to let the speed of the reaction outrun the truth of it. And there's a detail in Emily's videos that stayed with me, you see. At one point, middle of her rant, she read out lines from a speech from the New York mayor had given about the pressure of making rent in the city. Well, like the internet said, she borrowed someone else's words about housing stress and dropped them straight into a dispute over her own lease renewal. I'm not saying that to mock her. I say because I recognize that instinct. When our own words feel too small for how upset we are, we reach out for bigger ones that aren't ours to use. Hopefully you use it for the benefit of others. Now, years ago in Singapore, my landlord told me I had to vacate. She decided her son's friend needed the room more than I did. Now, I could tell her she hated asking me because I was a good tenant. I always paid early, give no problems. But how do you compete with her own flesh and blood, right? You can't. Anyway, I negotiated a month, which was tight because I was leaving the country for good in 2 months later. My girlfriend at the time helped me sort some temporary accommodation and it worked out okay. So what? There was no fire escape, no audience. It's just a slow conversation. Up to this day, my landlady and I still kept in touch. Now, if a video like this is doing something for you, I'm going to ask you to subscribe, like the video and share it, please. Thank you. Now, I have to tell you what actually happened on that Teams channel, right? My manager posted that someone hadn't locked her office door. So a colleague replied straight away, "Oh, I've told George many times to lock it in the past." So it was named to the whole team with nobody stepping in to ask a single question about it, right? Now I sat there waiting to reply, wanting to ask why the chef's door wasn't mentioned, or the pantry, or the cleaning room. These are all part of the same nightly process, all just as important. But none of them was mentioned. I mean, I want to ask what happened to the innocent until proven guilty. But I didn't send a message. Not because it stopped hurting, but because I decided that hour was more worth spending making another video for someone who needed one than spending defending myself to people who already decided. So yeah, good thing I let it go. Nobody knows the truth of that night except me and God. It's still sitting there unanswered a month later. Friends, think about the reply you're sitting on right now. What's it actually protecting? Emily's videos are still online, probably permanently now. It's still searchable. That's 4.6 million views. That includes a public apology and a promise to give away what's left. All of it out there for good, I hope. Now, my reply exists nowhere. So what? Nobody will read it. It costs nothing but the wanting. So that's the way it is, right? Quick to hear, slow to speak, slow to anger. And that's today's message of hope. Thank you for listening. I think I'm going to enjoy today's meeting. I'll see you on the next video. You look after yourself. Thank you. Bye-bye.